Hello, Billy.
That's great.
Hi.
Well, I'm banking on Jewish Standard Time because you've got me and my mother right now, but I'm hoping we get a few more folks.
Nice to
That's okay.
I,
I don't mind that. Hi.
hi. I've seen the trailer and I read about the film. I haven't had a chance to see it yet. I just asked Neal whether the link would still be available, and he said it would be. And I'm certainly planning to watch the whole film.
Great.
What an amazing, horrific situation. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty much full time lately been dealing with this, helping people in guardianship and helping guide them to resources to get them out, but it's very hard to get people out once you're in.
Yeah, the article that I found, and it was from Northwest Public Broadcasting. It's a very similar story to the ones that you depict in the film. And one of the things that kind of concludes the article is an attorney saying, I think she likens guardianship to a lobster trap. She says it's easy to get in, it's hard to live in them, and it's very difficult to get back out. So
Yeah, that's a good analogy for sure.
Anyway, and yeah, this article, it's focused on Washington State, which of course is where we are, and it's a very, in general, the broad strokes of what they're talking about, very similar to everything in Europe. So I'm sure it's probably a 50-state problem, if not international problem. But
Yeah, for sure. It's all over the states. The cases that I'm dealing with right now are in, I deal with cases all over, but I've been focusing on Arizona. There's actually a gentleman from Montreal who got caught up in guardianship in Arizona. His brother put him in it. They have a lot of money. They've got a huge trust fund, about I think a $500 million trust fund, and his brother and the man who is in guardianship now has $40 million that I guess the brother wants. So he put his brother in guardianship. 60 years old.
Jeez. I would think that it's maybe more of a problem in places with more retirees like Florida and Arizona, New Mexico to a degree.
Yeah.
But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So where are you guys? While we're waiting, where are you guys? Where you're in Washington?
Well, my mother's in Detroit.
I live in Huntington, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit. It's a near suburb.
I know it well. I have a lot of family there.
Really?
The Berlins. Yeah, Bill Berlin. Do you know who Bill Berlin is?
I don't know that name, but I know the last name.
Carrie Berlin.
Yes, right.
Yeah, maybe Marvin Berlin. I don't. He's not with us anymore, but he had a carpet factory. Half my family immigrated to Detroit from Toronto.
Oh wow!
And so so we the 401 we had back and forth. So I've got a lot of family there. Now my parents live in Vancouver, British Columbia, so close to you now.
A great city. That's one of my favorite cities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lived in Seattle for 10 years, and so I went up when I could. And actually, it's funny, years and years ago, I attended the first ever, as far as I know, the first ever Vancouver City Seder. It was like an official city-sponsored event.
Wow.
And it was like chock-a-block with boobies trying to introduce me to their daughter. And I was just visiting for a few days, but yeah, it was pretty great. That was like 15 years ago or something.
Wow.
But no, I love Vancouver, and if it weren't so pricey, I'd probably, not that Canada's letting any of us in right now, but I hope.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, no, and I was tickled to find that you were on Degrassi High.
Yeah, junior high at the beginning, the first
really?
one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sure that's a real, that's a claim to fame for you now. Well, I don't know if we're gonna get more people. I was really hopeful.
That's okay.
Yeah,
you can call me back if you want. If some more people show up and you want to do it, it's up to you.
I could do that. I mean, I don't know what the factors are that determine whether people show up for these things. We've been doing them for a few months now, but I don't know. Sometimes we get 10 people, sometimes we get 2 people.
I'll tell you something that after I made this film, The film did really well in all parts of the world except for the States,
Really?
because people just don't want to deal with this type of topic. It's too hard. So, I pick topics that are hard for people.
Yeah, and I think on the one hand, a lot of the people who might be interested in our community would be seniors, but on the other hand, maybe some of them don't want it. I mean, it's too close to home, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a little scary for them.
I'm a senior and I live alone, and I actually have a question, if I might ask it.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
How are the seniors targeted? How do these awful people decide whom to target?
Anybody with a house.
Mm.
That's what they're. It's a real estate market.
Mm.
So anybody that has a house and they find you through your doctors or through your healthcare workers,
I see.
community centers, they got. It's huge. You got to be very careful in Detroit. It's rampant in your area.
Wow.
So I'm surprised that none of your friends or you've never heard of it, because it's one of the most active places.
I have not. And I guess I'm wondering, do these people just come to the door and
Well, if they've come to your door, it's already too late. They've already got you. If they're knocking on your door, it means they've already had all the court process has happened, and they already have temporary guardianship of you.
and
But when you watch the film, you'll understand. It sounds pretty scary the way I say it. It is scary, but when you watch the film, you'll definitely understand, because this is exactly what it talks about, is the elderly couple and different elderly people, how they just immediately got kidnapped. It's kidnapping.
whoa.
Yeah.
But you should watch it and share it with your friends, because the more people that know, and then and the best thing I could always say to anybody is, if they show up at your door and they knock on your door and they tell you to come with them, you do not go.
Mm.
And they're going to tell you that they're going to call the police. Then say, call the police, and then call my son, and just don't go. Barricade yourself. Get yourself some handcuffs.
It's really crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's just terrible to say that. But it's real. I'm dealing with so many people that, they don't know any better. I mean, I've been investigating Child Protective Services, and they do the same thing with children. They come up to parents' houses. It's a scam. They come up and they've already got, they try to get custody of the children, because the state makes about $1 million per kid.
Mm.
So,
I worked for about a little over a year, for an agency that was actually trying to help CPS-involved families either regain custody or retain custody of their children, and basically to jump through the hoops that were set for them. And it is a system that, it certainly has good people in it, but it's broken in many ways. That's certainly true.
Yeah, no, a lot of it's set up for commerce.
Well, I can keep the Zoom meeting open in case anyone joins. I have a feeling if people were going to, they would have joined in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to not have
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. I'm not. It's nice to meet you guys. I know this is a good way to lead life, to be able to have an opportunity to just make connections with people and reach out.
And we have someone in the waiting room.
Great.
Great.
Well, if you don't mind sticking around for a bit, we may take
I'm here.
More.
I'm on a hammock and I'm chilling.
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah.
That's a good life.
It is.
Okay, well, Adela should be joining.
Hi.
Mormon.
Hi, Neal. I'll have my video in a minute.
Okay,
that's okay. That's okay. It's a nice voice.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Well, I was going to save this question, but I'll ask it now, Billie. You're talking about ways to kind of anticipate, learn more about, and read about this problem is important, but I wonder, when making the film, how you found the right balance between the need to kind of sound the alarm about this issue and the risk of making a film that could be seen as sensationalistic or even scaremongering, which I think you didn't do, but I can imagine that there was kind of a push-pull there, and I'm curious about how you navigated that.
My job is just to like first get the information, and sorry about the noise, they got construction going on right next door. My job is to get as much information and not be alarmed myself. Like there's more people talking about guardianship than when I discovered it in 2013, and so you really just have to, as far as sensationalization, you got to make sure that the people that are telling you this stuff, it's not sensational. So just getting that information, and it's so hard to believe that you have to you got to vet it. And then in order to broadcast it, you have to get errors and omissions. So then the lawyers, they're all over it. And so it takes actually a long time to make sure that what you're saying is completely fact. As far as wanting to send a message, I mean, my job is to make a film. And then there's a lot of advocacy out there already, and it's to arm those advocates with a film so that they can educate other people. It's not necessarily my job to get the message out or to get a message out. A lot of times a film will suffer by the filmmaker trying to deliver a message. And there's a famous saying by, I forget his name, the guy who created Fox Studios, who said, if you want to send a message, use FedEx. If you want to make a movie, tell a story. And so it was my job to just tell the story and not come across as like an advocate, because it makes it more legitimate, is that like I'm just reporting what I found. I did become an advocate through making the film. And I spend a lot, as I said, I spend a lot of my time working with people who are stuck in guardianship. Like while we're talking right now, I've gotten 3 texts already from people who I'm trying to help out in guardianship situations.
Wow. That's really something. The line between your work and your life is permeable. I'm sure is true for many filmmakers who make this kind of documentary film.
Yeah, actually, this morning, I had another phone call with a journalist from California with ABC, and she actually got full weight of her legal team to help her do a story on guardianship and start exposing guardianship in her county in California. So I've been helping her and setting her up with other lawyers and other people to help navigate through and know how to read a legal document and how to read the court documents. So it does become like the more people who get involved, when you find out about it, you can't not like get involved and try to help people.
Right. Well, let me invite Adela. I don't know if you're going to turn on video, but I imagine you're hearing. So Adela, did you see the film? And if so, do you have any questions about it to ask Billie? Oh, let me message her and see if we've got her.
Is it? Or is she on mute?
She is on mute right now, and I think I asked.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
There you go.
Wonderful.
No, I'm very sorry. I didn't see the film yet. I'm going to, though, of course. But I'm sorry I did not.
You're welcome, of course, to ask about the topic if you'd like, though.
Pardon me?
You're welcome to ask about the topic if there's something that is interesting.
Okay.
Go
ahead.
Feel free to think about it. I happen to line up a bunch of questions that intrigued me, so if you want, I can.
All right, let's keep going.
And if it's all right, I'm recording this so that it can be seen later by others if they're not able to.
Sure, no problem.
Well, another question I had, and you kind of touched on it a little bit. At different points in the film, as I recall, you identify yourself sometimes to people as a filmmaker, sometimes as a journalist, and maybe sometimes both. And I don't know if that was strategic in some way, but it also brought up for me the question of how you might see documentary filmmaking and journalism in relation to each other, and whether there are distinctions that you see between them.
Yeah, I guess it depends what it is you're doing and what you're making a film about. I think it's pretty strategic to tell people I'm a filmmaker and tell people I'm a journalist based on what I want from them. You can scare people away when you tell them you're a journalist, and you can attract people when you tell them you're a filmmaker.
Right.
And again, it's like, you know, it's a job that you have to, you need to incite people in order to want to talk to you. Without people, you don't have anybody to talk to. Without anybody to talk to, you're not going to get your story. So as far as, you know, I think journalism is there's a wide range of understanding of what journalism is. Used to be you were a journalist if you did something for the news or TV or newspapers. Now you have digital journalists, you have citizen journalists, you've got all types of journalists, and then you've got documentary, which at the base of a lot of documentary, there's journalism. And I think journalism is defined for me is what I think of my journalist, of whether I'm a journalist or not, is whether I'm trying to find answers that affect the public interest. And so when I'm investigating something that is that means something to the public interest, then I'm using journalism at the time for making a story. I just made a film before, just recently, where there was some journalism to it, but it wasn't really for the public interest. It was more, I was a storyteller.
Is that Portrayal?
Yeah, Portrayal. Yeah.
And that's the film you completed this year, is that right?
Yeah, that's my new movie. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, that seemed to me when I read about it like more of a personal story, not that it's divorced from history and any of that, but that it's not the same kind of thing as The Guardians. When I watched The Guardians, I thought about, I think this might have been middle school, when I learned the term muckraking, right?
Yeah.
And journalism, especially in the early part of the 1900s, to try to expose corruption in various settings, factories and so forth. And it really kind of stuck for me about this film, because it's really, you're turning over a lot of rocks and finding a lot of bad stuff underneath, and some inspiring stuff too, in terms of the people that you meet, but it just really kind of seemed an apt descriptor.
Yeah, I've looked into muckraking. I think muckraking is more about, you know, gossiping and possibly like unethical journalism or, but yeah, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was just, when I was looking up, I'm always looking stuff up and I like the term. And so I wanted to use the term, but then I looked it up and I was like, nah, that doesn't really apply. But you know, we'll have to do some Googling.
I think you're actually right. I just pulled it up. The action of searching out and publicizing scandalous information about famous people in an underhanded way. So you're right.
I mean, that could be my new film. Portrayal is probably, there's a little bit of muckraking there, I would say. I would say it's based on that.
Okay. So I want to ask my mom and also Adela if either of you has any questions to ask as well. And it's okay if you don't, but.
No.
Okay.
That's good.
I will, I'm sure, after I see the film, but that's too late.
Well,
that's okay.
I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I haven't seen the film yet. So
Yep.
the answer to my question may indeed be in the film, but since you're here, you're the source. I'm intrigued, terrified by the idea, of course. Are most of the people, as far as you can tell from your experience and research and so forth, targeted in part by someone who has notified these guardians, by someone in the family, or someone who knows about their situation and that it would be lucrative to target them? I mean, I'm thinking of myself, I'm thinking of any number of other people I know who live alone, or even if they don't live alone, even if their spouses or partners are still alive and they're with them, what would make me an easy target? What would make someone else an easy target?
Again, sorry about the noise.
No,
So we start when I'm about to stop.
that's fine.
You guys can hear me okay with this noise? Because I can't hear myself.
Um,
So, okay. So, okay, let's walk back a little bit. Anybody, like, guardianship is a good service for people who need it. It is a service for taking care of people who are indigent, okay? But
Yeah.
for the last 40 years, those laws have been exploited in order to take anybody and pretend that they are indigent and not give you a voice with which to fight back. Because a lot of this stuff happens without you knowing it, or without you understanding what's going on, and then sooner or later they've got full guardianship of you. So if you have something that other people want, they can go to the means of guardianship to get it, whether it be your house, your money. A lot of times kids get involved where they don't want to wait for their parents to pass away, and they want the money. They want to control the money. They think mom or dad is spending the money, and they don't want the mom and dad to spend all the money. Maybe mom and dad gets a new boyfriend or girlfriend. They get afraid of their inheritance, and so they take the legal means. Like any lawyer who's involved in this system, they love it when there's a willing family member, and they orchestrate a basic coup, a takeover of your person and estate.
wow.
Now, there's 1.5 million people in America right now, probably in guardianship. Among them, there are a lot of people who need that guardianship, but there's also a huge percentage of people that are literally just stuck in the guardianship, and they do not know how to get help. If their family's involved, then they're totally screwed.
So,
Does that answer your question?
it does, for the most part. What I'm hearing is that there's generally a family contact of some sort that relates information to these guardians. In other words, or I guess what I'm asking is, just for the record, I have no one in my family, neither my son nor my stepchildren, who would be in that situation. That's for sure. So I know that, as well as I know my own name. So I'm sitting here, right? I'm in a home, nice home in a lovely area near Detroit. So how could I easily become a target?
Well, all your family members around you? Are most of your family members around you, or
None of
are
them.
they away?
None
Okay,
of them.
well, that makes you a target.
I see.
So it would be somebody in your community that knows you're alone, that goes to the means. They'll change your mail so that you don't even get notification of the court dates. So it's just important not to share. Like, if you go into a doctor's office, and they ask for financial information, there's no reason a doctor's office should ever do that. There's no reason you should ever be telling anybody anything about your finances. They're only interested in you if you have some sort of financial means that they feel they can take over. And if you're alone, So, but just having this information alone without watching the movie is going to sound like extra scary. So maybe I'll scare you into watching the movie.
Oh,
I don't think you have to scare her.
So as far as the film is concerned, though, I do want to ask this question. I would like to share this information with friends of mine and wonder whether, I don't know whether they know about this or not. To what extent am I permitted to share the film? And
you can share the film. That link should work.
Yes.
If they want to, if anybody wants to rent it, I'm not soliciting rentals. I'll keep that as long as you don't publish that it's for free on this thing.
of
Yeah,
course.
no, that's not for me. I don't care you do that, but I don't know. I don't actually own the film, so the owners might get angry. Yeah, just send the link, and you can send the trailer. You can You know, I think more people watch it, the more important it is. So
There's a rabbi, her name is Rabbi Geller, who co-wrote, you might know the name, who co-wrote a book called Getting Good at Getting Older. And we've had her as a guest speaker in my synagogue. And actually she's going to be conducting a workshop on Monday evening as well, again, with us. And one of the things we're doing going forward is having monthly workshops on topics that are of particular interest to seniors in our synagogue community. And so
great.
I'm thinking that maybe going forward, I might contact you.
Yeah, let me know. I'm here. Any way I can help. Great.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
But you can also, if you just want to screen and share the film and use it, you're welcome to.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Well, I did have at least one other thing I wanted to ask Billie, and that has to do with whether there are reforms that you think can be made to this system to greatly reduce the harm that's done, or if it's kind of so broken that it just kind of needs to be dismantled and replaced. And I ask that in part because on the one hand, at the end of the film, the indictments provide a really positive note, right? But it's also clear that this is a specific, very localized victory, and that the larger systemic changes feel, at least watching the film, felt like they might be almost impossible, basically because the people who have power don't want those changes to happen. So I'm wondering, is there reform that you think is possible in a larger scale, or is it just kind of like it needs to be taken apart?
Well, it's $1 trillion business. So,
wow.
You know, when you think of all the people involved and all the people that are making money and all the lawyers that are making money, so these people do not want it to be changed. There are organizations and advocacy groups around guardianship abuse that you can look into in your local area, whether it be your state, that will give much more information on who's leading the charge to try to make reformations to the system. I think it can be reformed. They have to make new laws. They need a place, an ombudsman. I think it would be simple just to have an ombudsman that is run by people that you can trust, that you can call if you feel like you're under a faulty guardianship, that can be looked into. But that's not my area of expertise. But definitely there are national organizations like NASGA that are set up to help try to advocate on behalf of guardianship abuse.
I appreciate your saying that. One of my other questions was going to be, what can we do? And you basically just answered that. So
yeah, like just get informed and let as many people know, and then be a part of the solution. Like it's just, I mean, it's so important. It's like the people are not good. That's one thing I've learned, is that people are not good. And I think there's more not good people than there are good people in the world.
Yikes.
But there's still a lot of good people in the world, but there's a lot of not good people in the world. And the not good people are organized, and the good people have a hard time getting organized.
That's bleak.
Yeah.
You know, but it's still, it's good to be good. It's good to be good. I lead a very beautiful life being a good person and having good people around me. So I deal with bleak every day, but I think I think you can still be positive in the bleak. I lead a spiritual life, and I'm blessed, and I use that blessing to try to help other people who aren't as fortunate.
Well, thank you for that. It's more than a lot of folks do. So
we got to get organized. Yeah. There you are.
Yes. Well, I came late, so maybe this question was already asked, but
Okay.
I'm curious as to how you became interested in this subject. Was that already asked?
No.
No, it wasn't. I had just finished making a movie where, as a Jew, I was fascinated with the whole Jewish Jesus question.
Mm.
And I was meeting people who, born again Christians. And as a Jew, you grow up totally not giving any voice or any understanding of it. So I wanted to understand more. So I went on a cross-country trip looking for Jesus, and I basically gave Jesus 40 days to show up, and I would do it on camera. So I really didn't give him an opportunity to fall back. And through that process, I had amazing experiences through that process. Just had spiritual awakenings in my life as a Jew, and you don't get taught a lot of spirituality and supernatural, even though Judaism is obviously a very supernatural religion. But we get taught more of it as, well, at least I was, as a Reformed Jew, taught more of it as fantasy stories as opposed to real. So I made an experiment where I asked God, say, what's my next film? Like, what should I work on next? Because I was looking for more interaction with God in my life. And immediately I heard to go to Belgrade, Serbia. And I'd never heard of Belgrade, Serbia before. I didn't know anything about Serbia. I didn't even know where it was. So I booked a one-way flight to Belgrade, Serbia, and just following this little voice I had inside me. And I checked in on Facebook in Belgrade, and I had a friend who I didn't really know say, hey, you got to go meet this guy named John Bosnich. So I went to go meet John Bosnich, and he said, what are you doing here? He was a Canadian who lived in Serbia. And I told him the story I just told you. And he said, wow, that's so interesting. And then he called this guy on Skype who lived in the south of France and said, hey, I got a director here from Canada who's looking for a story. And they both start laughing. And then he said, open up my cupboard. And I opened his cupboard, and there was like state-of-the-art brand new film equipment that he did not use. Wow. And he said, we've been looking for a director. And so I went to the south of France with them with all the equipment, and I met this man whose parents were Holocaust survivors who lived in right off of Central Park. They had a $15 million estate, and it was taken over by a guardian, by their accountant, who became their guardian. And so I went to New York to follow up on that story, and then I started looking into other organizations, like I told you before. And then I found that the epicenter seemed to be in Las Vegas. And then I went to Las Vegas. I moved into an apartment right next to the Public Guardian office. And for 4 years, I started reporting on the situation. And that's how I found it.
Wow.
That's very interesting.
I guess you weren't expecting that response.
No, I wasn't. No, and I'm thinking of the south of France to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That's quite a leap, but that's very interesting story. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to you watching it, and then you can learn about it.
Yes, definitely.
Well, I want to say I really appreciate you taking the time, and I don't know if there are any final questions, but I just it's nice to meet someone who works in film who is very laid back, and I appreciate the occasional dog on the screen, as I think that's part of our new reality with Zoom.
We got 4 of them.
Oh, you got 4 dogs. Wow.
I'm jealous of the hammock.
I have one.
Okay, my mother has one question. I'm gonna make it the last one.
Yeah.
I have one dog.
Oh, one dog?
Oh.
Yes. Well.
And where are you? Where does this take place? Where are you located?
I live in California.
Oh, in southern, northern?
Southern.
Southern?
Yeah.
I like the rustic background there.
Yeah, that's our wood roof.
Very nice. I'll look forward to watching the film.
Great. Very nice to meet you guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Good to meet you too, Billy.
I'm assuming I can get your email from Neal.
Yep.
Great.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Thank you.
Okay, and I hope you guys had a good Yom Kippur, and
It was.
we'll be in touch.
It was.
Great.
Good.
Very much.
Very good to meet you,
Shana Tova.
Billy. Take care.
Okay, thank you so
Shalom.
much. Talk soon.
All
Shana
right.
Tova.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.